How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews. About to throw down some bourbon barrel-aged old ale up in this piece. Kane Brewing, Pictures in Reverse. Or picture, non-plural, in reverse. I have not had this before, which is a crime. I love Kane. I love their barrel aging program. And I love old ale. So this screams me all the way. It's just, I don't get... Kane is far enough away to where it's a little bit too far out of my comfort zone for just a random drive. So I go down there when I feel like going down there, and I never go to a brewery just because of release, really. It's more like make a day of it and have fun. And, I miss a lot of those. So this was there once when I was there, but it was on on-site only consumption. And I was not going to drink one of these to my head. So, yeah. I kind of said, well, maybe one day I will try it. That one day is today, and that one day is courtesy of my boy, Flash Gordon. Yeah. He sent me this along with a couple other beers. The one I reviewed live, I was a little bit tipsy, but it went quite well. It was after I did a live show with the No Hype and Nerd Sense guys. But let's dive into this sucker. You guys are hearing me talk way too long. Cut this wax open, and we'll see what's what. Okay. Now that I got the hang of this bottle opener, I actually really dig it, especially for wax opener bottles. It makes a horrible ringing sound, though. Let me see. 3/22/20, I believe, is when he procured this, and I believe it's this year's bottle. We'll see what's what. Yeah. Ooh. Come the papa. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at me eschewing the normal pours. It's getting all hot and bothered. First things first. Label. I hate it. I hate this label so much. I can't stand it. I absolutely can't stand it. It's like, I like Kane's labels. I dig what they do. Some of the stuff that I'm not even a big fan of, typically I'm like, okay, I'm not a huge fan of this art design, but that works. But this, as someone who does graphic design for a living, this is bad. I would just it's because of this reflection dot kind of thing here. If I'm missing something, like there's some kind of inside joke about Pictures in Reverse and this is from an album or something, then I'll absolve Kane, but that is some pretty craptastic fucking labeling right there. So yeah, don't sugarcoat it. What does that look like? Looks like a barrel-aged old ale, or an old ale. By old, old ale, I mean an aged old ale. It did have a little bit of a head kind of honor at the set. Looked like what I like my coffee to look like color, maybe a little south eking towards malt ball, but there's a thinness to the head. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of screams like it's lacking a little bit of carbonation. Not all that uncommon with a lot of old ales, especially barrel-aged ones or aged ones, but yeah, she doesn't look too shabby. Nice darkness in color. Let's get a nose. I mean, yeah. It smells like old man beer. My kind of beer. It smells like those beers right there. It smells like, your Hardee's, your Old Stocks, your JW Lee's, even though JW Lee's is very unique from a yeast perspective. It's just rich. Kind of, if I was going to be very kind of cool hipster guy, I'd be like leathery tobacco. But no, it doesn't smell like leathery tobacco to me. It smells like raisins, but no, raisinets or prunes or dates. A lot of aged kind of dried fruitiness in there. Caramel, truffles, not truffles, spacing, dates and figs and things like that. Caramel, a roast, like a reduced kind of boiled down kind of caramel. You're getting a nice soft barrel char in there. I believe you're going to get a bit more of that kind of charry roastedness actually in the taste. There's a little bit of that in the nose. Vanilla for days, even though it's underlying all that other stuff. There's the bourbon comes off, but it's very much melded with the beer at this point, so it's not like a super hot beer. It's just, you can tell the bourbon's in there, but it's not coming off heat-wise. It just smells like old dad beer. Old guy beer. This guy beer. Let's dive in beer. Cheers. Delicious. It's delicious. It's sweet. Appropriately sweet. I'm going to walk that one back, I think. It's probably a little bit sweeter than where I'd like it to be. I mean, you're talking about an old ale, aged in bourbon barrels, 13% is 12.8. You're expecting a sweet beer, but there is a little bit. It's the extra that kind of builds after you swallow, that ends up being like, okay, this is a very sweet beer. I'm not hating on it. It's not too sweet, but it's sweeter than I'd like it to be. Let's put it that way. Decent mouthfeel. It is lacking a little bit of carbonation. Again, barrel aged old ale. Something I come to expect from that kind of style, so I'm not going to knock it too much on that. That sweetness, though, kind of defeats a little bit of the subtlety of the beer that I wish I can get. And maybe each sip I'm going to take is going to end up kind of letting those things come out, which is a little bit of that barrel char. I know it's in there. I could tell it's in there, but the sweetness is knocking that down. A little bit of like that date figgy thing. I think it's a little bit richer, a little bit more robust. But that sweetness is turning it from date figgy, old dried fruit, pruny kind of stuff into like Tootsie Roll level, which I don't mind at all. I love me some Tootsie Roll in these old age beers, but since the mouthfeel is a little bit down, it's okay, but it lacks carbonation, so it lacks a fullness to it. It doesn't give you that kind of, that full confectionery, powdery kind of thing that I get with a lot of like, Tootsie Roll. It's not that Tootsie Rolls are powdery, but when you eat them, they have this kind of fudgy density to them. That's what's lacking here. So that connective point between those two kind of doesn't make the Tootsie Roll pop as much as I would like. I mean, the vanilla, it was there in the nose, but it actually ramps up actually in a taste. More so that a lot of those other flavors are kind of drowned out by the sweetness, where I think the vanilla is kind of propped up by that sweetness. Kind of makes you kind of dial into that a little bit more. That's tasty. A little bit of heat on the back end, but in a good way. Letting you know you're drinking something of heft. I think it's really tasty. I think this is a really, really tasty beer. Yeah, I dig this. I think it's quite nice. It's not going to be a world beater for me, but man, right now, kind of wanting a little bit of kind of a barrel-aged old ale. And it's, lockdown, COVID-19-ville. This is definitely hitting the spot, so thank you very much, Flash. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Let's talk about it. Is this one of the better barrel-aged malt forward beers? Because I don't want to go barrel-aged old ales. It'd pretty much be default close to the top. Barrel-aged malt forward, bourbon, barrel-aged stouts, things like that. It's in the conversation, but because of those subtle little kind of dips in direction along the way, it keeps it from being like king of shit of fuck mountain kind of status, but it's still damn tasty stuff. Something I wouldn't turn away. Let's put it this way: if you told me this is $12 a bottle, $10 to $12 a bottle, I'm all day on this, even in its present form. Not only would I be all day on this, I would be all day on this to let it sit for a couple of years, see what it turns into. That might, some of those flavors might hash themselves out. You get a little bit of that kind of savory umami soy sauce thing coming up with this. That kind of defeats some of that sweetness. Mouthfeel changes a little bit. It could turn into a world beater. Value and availability, like I said, it's a Kane product, so chances are this is Kane only. At this point, I believe until they come out with the next release, it's going to be on-site only for consumption, but I do see this every now and then for on-site, so it can be had and leave you with, and they have a huge trading presence out there, not Kane, but the people that buy their beer, so this could actually be had probably at a decent price and leave you with, if you like, will you like this beer? If you like barrel-aged old ales, Tootsie Rolls, just big, rich, sweet, confectionery, desserty like beers that don't go all the way pastry, this will be all you. So there you go, another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again, Flash, for sending this off. Yeah, massive beers. Type that into Google. You see me doing all kinds of social media stuff. Beer Massif. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of pictures in reverse right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.